Hi, Laura. Thanks for taking time to chat with us. Your thoughts overall on the match tonight?
Cool. Do you know that they can't see me? Do you know?
Oh, no, it's okay. There's no one
It's weird.
It looks
What's
weird.
weird? Sorry, Jake. Ask that again. Sorry.
Just your overall thoughts on the match tonight.
I thought it was the occasion, sort of how important the 3 points were. I think showed it like there was some tightness, I thought, from us in the first half. I thought in the second half we moved the ball a little bit better, especially in the first 20 minutes of the second half. I thought we came out and we were really good in the first sort of 15-20 minutes, and then we sort of took our foot off the gas again, which is something that we've done in a lot of games lately, so we need to look at that. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've played against 10 players now a couple of times, and I think this is the first time we've actually really won. And it's tough. It can be tough, you know. They either drop off like Orlando did, or come after you like Houston did. And I think for us, when a team drops off like that, we have to play what they give us. And I didn't think we did that in the first half. I thought we did that more in the second half. And you know, a couple of really good saves by their goalkeeper who came in. The game could have been over and done with after 60 minutes, but we need to take more of our chances and create more opportunities. But I thought that the biggest thing today was 3 points, no question, and we got that. So.
And speaking of Orlando going down to 10 players so early into the match, and basically, you know, the rest of the way, I mean, you've coached a lot, you've seen a lot. Have you ever seen a player being sent off so early into the match like that? And
yeah, Lou Barnes, 2016. Come on, Jacob, you know me, I got a good memory. Yeah, it was about the same time. I think Lou was sent off super early in the game. And we dropped Jess back into centre back and drew 1-1. So, yeah, it's tough. You know, I think that ball that Phoebe played to Bolsa, we needed to do that 7,000 times more. We didn't do it enough. So that's something that we spoke about at half time. And I thought we tried to do that more in the second half, and when we did that, we had success.
Defensively, you came out with a clean sheet. There was a moment when Claudia had a pretty acrobatic save on Marta's corner.
Yeah.
Can you speak to Claudia's role and where she is starting the last few matches?
Yeah, I think obviously last week was disappointing for her. You know, I think she took responsibility. I don't know what the right terminology is for the result, which I think is hard. But I think what Claudia gives us is she's super calm at the back. We can play back to her, and it just calms things down a little bit. And yeah, really happy for her that in the big moment when she needed to step up today, she did. And we've seen that from her all year in the Challenge Cup, you know. And I think last week was just unlucky. Just super unlucky. So.
Thanks for taking the time. I wanted to ask if you could give an update to, it looked like Jess and Bethany left due to injuries. What's an update, or how are they doing?
Jess is fine. Bolsa's got hurt in the initial red card challenge and tried to run and then felt pain. I don't know exactly what it is. I think she's getting assessed and looked at, so we don't quite know, but yeah, I think Jordan obviously came in super early in the game and took that on. But yeah, Jess is fine. Just okay.
And then I wanted to ask about the Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
What are, now that you've got this success, what are some early thoughts as far as taking on that game?
Yeah, I think we've always done this throughout the whole season. Is we've sort of separated the two, regular season and Challenge Cup, and we did not speak about the Challenge Cup at all this week because today was so important. And now we turn our attention real quick to that. It's such a short turnaround, you know. I'll keep my opinion to myself on that. It's such a short turnaround that it's unrealistic to think that the players that played 90 minutes today can be expected to play 90 minutes on Wednesday and then play them on Saturday. So I think how we've approached the Challenge Cup all year and how we've looked at it is actually at our benefit, because players have experience in that. So we'll have to assess where everyone's at tomorrow morning when we get back into training, and then make a decision on, you know, who we think's best to start, who we think's best to come off the bench. And also have in mind that if we win, we need to be able to do the same thing again on Saturday, which is obviously a very short turnaround with travel. It's great finishing top seed.
You mentioned Phoebe's ball over the top, and obviously got a start today, and I'm wondering what you thought she could bring and how you thought she did overall.
That really, you know, I think she is super two-footed. And I just thought, whether they were with 10 players, 11 players, that they held a high line against us when we were there in Orlando. And our centre-backs being able and willing to step out and play that ball was going to be important. And it's not that Sammy can't play that, she can, but it's really in Phoebe's wheelhouse. And I've said this a lot, we are super deep, and she's played a lot since the World Cup players have gone, and then obviously last week didn't get the start, but she's one of those players that, and I actually said this to her last week when I told her she wasn't starting, like, she can literally play anywhere in the back line, and that's just such a fantastic thing to have at your disposal, that it's, when she's not starting, it makes our bench easy. When she's starting, it makes our bench a little bit more difficult on what to pick and stuff. So I thought today she did really well, and she did exactly what we needed her to do.
I wanted to ask as well about Emily Sonnet, who I thought controlled the midfield quite well today. Obviously, a surprise when we saw her at the start of the position there, but how did you think she did in the midfield today?
I think she's been our best player all year, is my opinion. I think consistent performer. If you look at consistency, which a lot of our top players have, you know, Lou is very consistent, Jess is very, you know, the top players who've been in and around this league a long time, they're consistently good. Sonnet's consistently good. And I think when we looked at playing her as one of the sixes, one of the reasons for that was just her sort of defensive mindset. We just don't have that. We didn't have that in any of our midfielders. Like, Quinn's just a really good ball player, Ola's a ball player, Jess is Jess, Rose is Rose, Angie's Ange. Like, we have all of very similar types. Outside of Nikki, we really don't have that like real brute six, and I don't like to necessarily talk about Sonic that way, but I think what she's done is, early in this pre-season, I think she was a little bit sceptical about it, but then I think once she started to see what the game gives her from that position, it's very similar from how she plays as a centre-back. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Her willingness to control the game is a game changer for us. I think it's a game changer. Now, there's occasions she gets it wrong, there's occasions she waits a little bit too long, but I mean, I'll tell a story, I don't think she'll mind me saying it. Like, in the World Cup when she wasn't starting, she texted me and she said, I want you to make me the best six in the country. And I was like, sweet. Because buy-in's huge, right? It doesn't matter if I want her to play there. If she thinks she has a real shot at doing well at it, then the buy-in is even better. And then obviously she got her reward for that of playing against Sweden. Obviously it wasn't the result she wanted, but I thought she, again, was very good in that game. So I think she's been very, very consistent. And when we brought her to the club, I've been very knowledgeable of this. Like, it wasn't planned, but the moment that we could get her, one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, let's do it, is because she's a winner. And I think you showed that today, because in these really gritty moments where you've got to see a game out, you want an Emily Sonnet on your team. And hopefully she can keep doing that.
You mentioned the 2017, actually, when Lou got sent off in the fourth minute. Does Lou know that? Does she remember? Because that used to be the record.
Oh, yeah.
And now, yeah, so did she have a reaction now that she doesn't have that record?
I haven't spoken to her about it, no. I think Lou's had a bit of Lou didn't feel great today, so I don't think that was probably top of her mind. But I'll remind her tomorrow.
So,
obviously you came into the game 11 or 11 and then 10 and 11. What do you think was the change in strategy that you had to implement, and if it had not been a 10 and 11 game, how would you have played it?
Yeah, I think the strategy from us didn't really change. I think the strategy for them changed, that they dropped. And I think we played Houston early in the season, and they had a player sent off early in the game, not as early as this, but in the first half, and they were really aggressive. They still kept players higher up the field, and we were like a bit shell-shocked from that. Today Orlando decided to drop and go 4-4-1. I think obviously away from home makes a difference for that. So I just think that when that happened, I spoke to Pino and Rose and just said, we need max width. We need to get touchline wide and try and stretch them out, because when they're in two banks of four. And obviously we play Rose in a little bit of a different role depending on what the opponent's given us. I think they changed their shape when it was 11v11 to try and combat her. Why wouldn't you? It's Rose Laval. But then when it went 10v10, it sort of naturally closed those spaces off for her. But they still kept a high line, so that ball in behind was definitely on. And we spoke about that at half time. We showed clips about it, and yeah, kindly said, can you please put the ball behind that line?
We'll take the last one from Jacob.
You mentioned many times over about how the goalkeeping depth is some of the best you've ever had as a coach.
Yeah.
But I mean, fans are just straight up curious. Like, has Claudia surpassed Fallon on the goalkeeper depth chart with her second start today?
I'm not sure I'm ready to say that. I think I've said all year that I think that they're all three are exceptional, and they are. And I knew, making that change going into last week's game was going to be challenging for them, all three in different ways. Claudia getting the start was big, Fallon not was hard, and Laurel not was hard, right? I think for all of them, but credit to all three of them. They've all been super professional, and I've been honest with all three of them that I'm not in a position to say that this person is absolutely number one right now, but I think we're in a position where that gap's closed, and Claudia, we feel right now, is in a position to take that mantle on.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks Laura.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.